Alrighty, 2005 Mazda RX-8 Shinka edition. This color is cherry red, based off of the 1996 and 97 Miatas, I believe. This specific one has exhaust done to it. It has a catless mid-pipe and some eBay mufflers. And we also have some tires. Now I'm assuming it's smoking just because I recently started it up, or it's because of the catless mid-pipe. One of the two. Now I just bought this car about less than a week ago, and I have thoughts. So, coming in here, we obviously have the 6-speed manual. We have the nice seats. Very nice, very nice. I'm gonna turn off the AC so you guys can hear me here. I don't know how much you're gonna be able to hear over this exhaust, and we'll go for a small ride whilst I talk. Now this car has 55,224 miles on it. However, it has had an engine replaced by Mazda. So the engine only has about 10,000 miles on it. Now, starting off, first thing I've noticed from owning this car is that the build quality is not the greatest on the planet. You close the front door and the front, what's it called, side mirror rattles a little bit. I'm having issues of, say for example, I throw it on my visor. This kind of just flops in the breeze. I have an issue down here where this thing won't stay in position. It just flops around. And I've had to put something there to dampen it because it's annoying. And as you may or may not be able to hear right now, there's a slight squealing coming from the brakes, which is something that I'm gonna have to get checked out. You have to turn on a little bit of AC here because it is steaming. It is 90 degrees at 6 o'clock at night, which is ridiculous. But yes, I'm having an issue with the brakes right now. I'm assuming it's just a adjuster or something of the sorts, but it has to be fixed because it's slowly wearing my brakes out. Now, all over the internet, all I ever hear is how horrific the gas mileage is. Now, my previous car was a Scion XB, a 2005 as well, and this car had an 11-gallon tank, which is fairly small for most cars, and it got, on record about 30 to 34 miles per gallon, within that range. And I had a few modifications to it, so it might have been less than that, but let's just say 30 just to be safe. And I could, putz around town and stuff like that. But say if I were to go on a 2-hour drive, I would go through, between a quarter and half a tank, depending on how much stop and go it was. So the car was fuel efficient, but it had such a small tank that it went through gasoline so often. Now, I drove this about 250 miles from where I bought it from, highway speeds, and I used a little less than half a tank. Now, I don't know if I'm driving like a grandma, which I don't think I was because I had done multiple pulls that night, driving home, as it was my first time owning it. Another thing, when I was driving it home, I tried to open up the sunroof, and one of the little plastic pieces that opens it, one of the arms with a spring in it, snapped as we were driving down the highway, which also broke off another piece, which is unfortunate. And luckily the roof still works and it does not leak, but it does stick up. Now, aside from the, not perfect build quality and some of the issues I've been having with it so far, it is still a very fun car. It's a very fun car if you have gauges. Now, as you might be able to see, I do not have gauges, which is why I'm kind of always stressing whenever I'm driving, because I don't know what my temps are looking like. Now, I'm assuming everything's fine, because it's not like I'm bringing it to the track. I'm just driving it around town. But, we're redlining it every now and then, as you should with a rotary, to get all the carbon out. But I have no temperature gauges, so it is really quite stressful to rev the piss out of the thing, especially when I don't particularly drive far. My average drive is maybe 10 minutes, so I don't drive too far, meaning the likelihood of me having it all 100% up to temp is not very likely, which is something that concerns me, because I want to take care of this car. I don't want to abuse it. I want to take care of it and make it last as long as I can, because it's a great car. I've been wanting it for months upon months. I've had many deals where I almost had one and they fell through, and so I finally got my hands on one. Now, how I came upon this Shinka Rx8 was via Facebook Marketplace, and I'm sorry if I'm not revving it out as much as I should be. Right now I have no inspection sticker, and at least in the state of Massachusetts, very illegal exhaust. It is quite obnoxious with those eBay mufflers, which I'll figure out something at some point. The previous owner was very gracious and gave me aftermarket catalytic converters and resonators, and the stock mufflers, which I will have to put on to get a inspection sticker, as you need visible catalytic converters in Massachusetts. You don't need to pass emissions for a car that's over 15 years old, but you need a visible cat. So, that's a downfall. That's also why I have my check engine light on, if you can see or not. It's because I have no cat. But the car is very fun. It's very sporty. It's got a very solid transmission. Again, I come from owning a XB, which will be pictured on screen. Oh boy. Okay. Now, that thing may not have been the sportiest thing on the planet. I had a 1.5 liter engine, which is funny how it's bigger than this, but of course, this being a rotary. Now, I've taken my standard precautions. I do not premix. I know there's a heavy debate on premix or no premix. I've talked to 2 Rx8 owners who have them both as dailies and for track use, and they have both said that you do not need to premix for daily driving, but it is recommended to premix for track use, just to get that little bit of extra lubrication. So I have premix. I have not used it yet because, again, I've just been daily driving it. I don't know if I'll take it to track. I feel like I have a couple more steps until I get there. Better brakes, better suspension, better wheels. It's got good tires, but it's got just no-name wheels on it right now. But for what it is, stock suspension and all, it sits very nicely. It's a very comfortable car to be in. Not too low, not too high. It's like a very comfortable middle ground. Clutch is very, I don't want to say light, but very smooth. That's a good word for it. It's a very smooth clutch. Although, of course, when you have a car that revs out to 8,500, well, more than that, it does not like being in low rev ranges. It's really anything under 1,500. It does not like to be there. which I found evident when being in traffic or when going through parking lots. But it does handle these corners very nicely, as if they're nothing, which is a common what's it called, compliment of the Rx8. But yeah, I love this car. It's a great car. For someone that would want this car, I would recommend it only really be bought by people that know how to work on cars to a basic degree. You don't need to be an expert mechanic. I'm no expert mechanic, but I know how to check my oil every week. I know how to keep up with my preventative maintenance. I know how to let the car warm up and how, you know, it's just basic things. Everyone on the internet really complains about how difficult it is to own these, and it's not difficult. I mean, Rx8's got a horrible rep on the internet. Now granted, I've only owned mine for less than a week, but I've been doing research on them for months. And from what I can see, the people that are hating on them are people that have either never owned one or people that buy one for $1,200 on Marketplace with a blown engine. Now, if that's what you're gonna do, yes, it's gonna be a piece of shit, but it's gonna happen with any car that you buy for $1,500 with a blown engine on Marketplace. Better move, UPS. But yes, as I was saying, it is a car that should be owned by people that have had a car. This should not be someone's first car, not in the slightest. Get something like I got, something a simple Toyota, something where, you know, you replace the oil once a year and you're golden. You don't have to worry about anything else. I mean, mine had things that happened to it, but that was mainly because of me being a dumbass. But no, I plan to make many videos of this car. I plan to do many modifications. And so far I've done small little visual things here and there. I added a eBay front lip to it. I added fish eyes onto the mirrors. And I plan to add things like a spoiler and so on and so forth. But again, no real complaints for the Rx8 other than build quality and just getting gauges. It's just something that's so important, is getting gauges, because you really need to know what's going on with your engine. It's really important. You really need to know what's going on with your car. But yeah, other than that, I don't have much more to say. Love the Rx8, love the platform, love the rotary. Thing shoots flames on a stock tune, and that's about all I gotta say. So until the next one, see you guys.